Hello there. This is Major Gregory Arabian. I'm a major honorably discharged from the United States Air Force, and I'm director of the oral history program of Post 41 AMVETS Corporal Paul S. Marsubian Post in Watertown, Massachusetts. And we're here today to take the oral history of one of our veterans, Anthony Seferian, who has been a member of Post 41 for how many years?
About 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years?
I was always a member with disabled veterans.
Yeah. But we're taking this oral history as part of the oral history program of Post 41. Today, there are about 19 million war veterans living in the United States. Every year, we lose about 1,500 of them. The mean age of the average veteran who served in World War II is somewhere between 70 and 80 years old. So it is important that we take down as much of their oral history as possible as a means towards providing information, inspiration, advices, and a meaningful recollection of their experiences serving this country and as citizens defending our most precious commodity, which is freedom. The United States Congress created the Veterans History Project in order to help us in this effort. It's Public Law 106-380, and it calls upon the American Folk Life Center at the Library of Congress to collect and preserve audio and videotaped oral histories, together with documentary materials such as letters, diaries, maps, photographs, and home movies of America's war veterans and those who served in support of them. And today we have Anthony Seferian, who served in the U.S. Army with the 538 Heavy Tank Maintenance Company, and he was under the 1st and 9th Army, is that right?
Yeah.
In Europe. And he has a very colorful history, tracing his experiences from Fort Devens, the Aberdeen Proving Ground, Fort Knox, Kentucky, the training in the Arizona desert, and that was in World War II. Today in Iraq we have desert training as well. And then to Scotland, Wales, D-Day +6 on Omaha Beach, northern France, the Falaise Gap, fighting with Patton to Luxembourg, Belgium, Holland, and Germany. So we have a great deal of history that we're going to record today with the help of Tony. We have some pictures strewn all in front of him, and what we're going to do is we have these all in chronological order, and we're going to be introducing those pictures as part of his oral history. And Tony, as we go along, as it's appropriate, just give us the photography, and we'll include it in the tapes. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. With that, I'll get out of the picture here and zoom in on Tony, because he is the center of our attention today. This is, by the way, it's a Sunday. We're working on Sunday too, aren't we? On October 19, year 2003. We don't know. We have no idea as to who will be viewing this film and when they will. But we do hope that it will be informative and helpful and inspiring to generations that follow us. And with that, we'll start this oral history. Okay, Tony, just as an introduction, what do we have in back of you there?
The American flag and the state flag, and
Right.
behind that is the pictures of all the veterans that served in the last two or three wars.
Right. And I think we have a picture of each one of our members in that collage of photography. We have 160 veterans. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. It says here, Tony, that you were born and brought up in Watertown, Massachusetts. Is that right?
That's right.
And which father's name?
Huggup.
Huggup.
Huggup, yeah.
And your mother's name?
Margaret.
And they came from Armenia?
They came from Turkey. Marash, Turkey.
Marash.
Marash.
Okay. And were they married here or?
They were married in the Marash.
In Marash.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were born in Watertown?
Yes.
You attended the local schools?
Yes.
Watertown High School?
Right.
And when did you graduate?
1941.
And do you remember Pearl Harbor?
Very distinctly.
Where were you at Pearl Harbor?
I was just getting out of the Coolidge Theater in Coolidge Square when the kids were peddling the Daily Record, and we were wondering where Pearl Harbor was. Nobody knew where Pearl Harbor was.
Really?
We soon found out, and then our blood started boiling at that time, ready to go. But my mother wouldn't think, she wouldn't sign.
She wouldn't sign for you. You were 18 years old.
Yeah,
So you wanted her to sign, let you go into service?
she wouldn't do that, no.
No? No.
Yeah.
And so how long was it how long was it between the time you graduated high school?
I worked for a year for the Watertown Arsenal,
Okay.
and that's where I got drafted from.
Okay.
About a year later.
So it'd be about 1942 or so?
January 43.
January 43.
Yeah.
So you got out of school in 41, worked in the arsenal for about a year,
Yeah.
and then you were drafted
Yes.
into the Army. Okay. And were you gung-ho, ready to go?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You were. What did you do in the arsenal here?
I was a machinist trainee working on anti-aircraft guns,
Uh-huh.
and those same guns that we made at the arsenal, we tested in Aberdeen Proving Grounds.
Really?
A few months later, we could tell it was from Watertown Arsenal because it had a metal tag on it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was quite a thing, most.
Yeah. So you knew that you had a gun from Watertown?
Right. Quite a thrill.
Yeah, so the work that you did at the Watertown Arsenal served you well in the Army later on.
It did, yes.
Now, you went to Fort Devens and did your paperwork there. And did you go through any boot training there?
Not at all. They were just assigning people to different organizations, and we took off from there.
Okay.
We took off for Aberdeen Proving Grounds from Fort Devens,
That was in Aberdeen, Maryland.
Aberdeen, Maryland. Yeah.
Okay, and what did you do over there?
Those same guns were making at Watertown Arsenal and other arsenals.
Yeah.
They take it down there to test fire, so the units in the field would get a mechanism that worked.
That
you
worked
know?
properly.
So we test fired all day long, boom, 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 with live ammunition.
Well, how many
And-
millimeters?
There was a 90 millimeter anti-aircraft gun.
Okay.
But I went to school for the 75 millimeter not anti-tank, 75 millimeter on the M4 tank.
Uh-huh.
We were supposed to take that apart and put it back together blindfolded or at night.
Uh-huh.
And we went there for four weeks in that school to learn
Okay.
that one thing.
Al Arsenian was talking about an 8 millimeter anti-aircraft gun. Had you been working on something like that?
Or 8 millimeter would be maybe, no, that's
Very small.
That's very small.
Yeah, yeah. How big were the shells on the guns that you used?
On the 90, they were about foot and a half long and 90 millimeters, about 4 inches.
Would this be for the purpose of flak or shooting directly at the aircraft?
Well, the anti-aircraft was for, against aircraft,
Okay.
yeah.
And what sort of things would go wrong in some of these guns that you'd be looking for?
We never had any problems.
There any problem?
At the War International, we did first-class work.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear your pride. But you mean all of these guns were perfect when they got to Aberdeen?
They were all tested, and they wouldn't be given to the units if they weren't perfect.
And what kind of tests did you do, like sighting and aiming? And
Well, in the Chesapeake Bay area, there are many small islands, and those guns were trained to land on those uninhabited islands.
uh-huh.
And, we'd fire it, somebody with the know-how would calibrate it so the shells would land on that island.
Uh-huh.
We kept firing all day long, different guns, of course.
What's the average distance that with these shells you could hurl these
Well,
shells?
I remember the distance for the 8-inch gun was 13 miles.
13 miles.
And we were at the site on that island, and somebody else was shooting it to that island, not
Right.
with live ammunition, but duds,
Yeah.
And the first calibration landed within 100 yards of it. The second, much closer,
Yeah.
and the third calibration would hit it within 10 feet, which is a
Right.
direct hit.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. And you'd fire those all day long.
That's right.
And how long were you there?
We were there, but there were so many people that we could only stay there 3 days, which was enough. 3 days doing that.
Yeah.
That was only part of the training.
Okay. What other training did you undergo?
We concentrated on the 75 millimeter M4 tank,
Uh-huh.
so we could take it apart and repair it if needed in the field.
Was this M4 tank commonly known as the Sherman?
Sherman tank, yeah.
Okay, and they used a 75 millimeter gun on
At
that
that
tank.
time, then later on in the war, they increased it to 90 because the German Mark IV was a far superior firepower type of a tank, and they were
Uh-huh.
knocking out our tanks from 3 miles away.
Really?
Yeah,
So your training was in repairing those guns
right.
in
Yeah.
the tanks?
Yeah, after the basic infantry training,
Yeah.
everybody took that.
Yeah.
1 month of that.
Yeah.
Then you went to school for this other stuff.
Yeah. Marching, rifle training,
Oh,
and
yeah,
things
that's
like
all
that.
part of it, yeah.
Okay. In your training at Aberdeen, on the infantry training, were you able to get any medals or anything, any badges, marksman or anything like that?
At Aberdeen, I qualified, I got a weak right eye, and I'm a right-hand shot.
Yeah.
But with the old Springfield rifles, you had the bolt action type of thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to use my weak eye because I couldn't see. You asked, how did I get in?
Yeah.
Well, I used my good eye to memorize the chart. And when I come to my right eye, I just
You just memorized the chart.
memorized it, and
Okay.
they thought I was perfect sight. So I trained left-handed, and
Yeah.
to get the bolt and pull it back and push it forward, it was a little awkward.
Yeah.
But I did it good enough to be a marksman, which is a step below sharpshooter.
So you got a marksman's badge.
Marksman, yeah.
Okay. And then after that, after training at Aberdeen, you went to Fort Knox, Kentucky,
Right. Yeah.
and then more tank training there?
About tank training, and we were training tank crews.
Uh-huh.
And, well, my
Specialty.
specialty was on the guns, because that's where I went to school for.
Uh-huh.
We were training these second lieutenants, and we were
Yeah.
just a private at the time,
Yeah.
how to take care of the gun, and how to
Uh-huh.
clean it, and so on.
How would you normally take care of a 75 millimeter tank gun?
Make sure it's clean, especially in the desert, everything gets so gummed up.
Really?
You rifle, everything, you gotta clean it every day.
How would you do that?
Well, they got the equipment with long rods and And I know we...
Plunges, so to speak?
Yeah, plunging, back
Yeah.
and forth. Then we had a canvas cover for the mechanism out from the outside.
So sand wouldn't get inside the barrel?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
But that was during training, of course.
yeah,
During warfare, you can't always use
Yeah.
that type of precaution.
yeah. This is the year 2003, and sometimes in the deserts of Iraq, they say that they cover the guns with nylon stockings to stop the sand from going in.
They had a
Yeah.
problem there.
They did, yeah. And how long were you at Fort Knox?
Let's see,
Fort Knox is where the gold is, isn't it?
yes, and I visited that, yeah.
Did you?
I visited my money.
Tell us about it.
Well, you couldn't get anywhere near the place. We went up to the gate and we could see you needed a battalion of M4 tanks to knock that the
Yeah.
gate down. And so,
But you were able to see it.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
tourist.
But Fort Knox is more than just one building. You have areas with,
Gigantic areas. The main tank training center for tanks in the United States
really,
at the time, yeah.
acres and acres of land?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And you actually did fire the 70-millimeter gun?
At that place, we didn't. We were on the maintenance end of it.
Maintenance
because
end.
We're teaching the crews,
Okay.
commandos.
And did every member of a tank crew know how to clean a gun? How to clean that gun?
They gave us groups of people to teach, so I don't know.
So you don't know where they were assigned?
know how they were assigned.
And so from Fort Knox, you're satisfied that you had trained a fair number of people on maintenance of these guns. Then you went to the Arizona desert.
Arizona desert, we went for desert training for North African campaign. But it ended before our training finished, so our training was, while at Arizona, we got into a special secret weapon that was supposed to use during the invasion of Europe. Big, gigantic searchlights that you were supposed to focus on the enemy, off and on, put it on and on, off and on, off and on like that.
Really?
And you could almost walk up to him without him seeing you. But unfortunately, we never got to use it,
It never worked.
except for light during, during the
Yeah.
invasion. They lit up to certain areas, but it was a minor thing. And yet, we were restricted to many things. We couldn't socialize with anybody during that period. We had to travel in groups of 15 when we got leaves.
Really?
You couldn't do much.
You just had to watch your tongue.
Yeah.
And what else did your Arizona desert training consist of?
We were...
You were still maintaining guns, weren't you? Maintaining
Yes,
and repairing
and
guns.
that was one aspect. Another aspect, there were groups that did automotive work on jeeps, trucks. Some people were mechanics.
Engine work.
And other people, small arms, rifles,
Right.
carbines, M3 submachine guns, and M4s.
So you were out in the range, using the range, firing range.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I think you have some pictures of your Arizona desert training.
Most of them is posed pictures.
Yeah, okay. Now, we have one here, and I'm going to show them this picture. Here we are. This picture is a picture of a bunch of tents
That's our home.
in Arizona desert, huh?
Yeah, it was hot during the day, and you had to use a blanket at night.
Really?
That's how cold it got.
And
That was
on the
during,
back of this it says, let me see what it says here. A section of our camp. And all I can see here in this picture is a whole bunch of tents. Let's focus on one, for instance. And it doesn't look as if any of these tents have any floors to them.
No, no.
Really?
Five soldiers to a tent
5 soldiers to a tent.
with a stove in the middle because it got cold at night.
And how was the terrain? Was they able to drive in a
It
train
was
okay?
Flat,
Flat
terrain
terrain.
with mountains in the background.
Oh, yes, here's the mountains. Any idea what those mountains were called?
I just can't recall right now.
Okay. So we have these places where you're trained. And we have this picture. What's that?
Those were my 3 close friends.
Okay. And you had some friends there at the Arizona desert.
Yeah.
Now,
Al Rybaltowski, the middle.
the middle,
and,
Al Rybaltowski?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He was from New York, Cohoes, New York.
Uh-huh.
And the other one, I can't recall his name.
The one with the dark uniform?
Yeah, dark uniform.
So you were the shortest there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's why I picked big friends.
Why did he have a dark uniform?
He was a non-commissioned officer.
NCO. Okay. So this is in the Arizona desert. All right. And let me see. What's that?
That's rabbit hunting in our spare time.
So,
Jackrabbits.
is that you?
Jackrabbits.
Is that you at a younger time?
That's me at a younger time, yeah.
So you used to do rabbit hunting?
Yeah.
What you use for weapons? Your M1?
Carbine.
I mean, there wasn't much left of the rabbit after that.
They're pretty hard to hit, I tell you.
Are they? Okay. And this one is also you?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's with your helmet.
Yeah, fatigues.
You look pretty hot there. Okay. And what was the name of the camp? Any idea?
It was made up, it was non-existence now.
A non-existent camp.
Camp Bouts,
Okay.
the a-hole of the world.
And this one here says Socorro Cactus,
Cactus.
Arizona desert. So you had these are is this typical cactus that you ran across?
Typical, yeah.
And you're at the base of the cactus.
Yeah, that's how.
These are pretty big, aren't they?
They're pretty big, some of them are.
Did you learn how to use the cactus for water? Or did they train you?
No.
None of that, huh?
That's what they say. You
They
can
say
get
the
water
cactus
out
has
of it.
water in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a picture of, is this you with the mule?
That's me with the mule.
Okay. Tell us the story of the mule.
You want to hear it?
Sure.
Well, we didn't call her a burro. They used to call her a burro over there.
Uh-huh.
A burro.
Burro.
And this one wandered into our camp, and we took it as a mascot. One night on guard duty in the perimeter, about 3 miles out, I was on a lonely post singing away. What else can you do when you're alone that far out? I hear a scratching noise, and being an 18-year-old kid and pitch black, I sort of got scared. And
Yeah.
after warning him 3 times, no answer. The scratchings came, so I let go in the direction of the noise,
Uh-huh.
and the scratching stopped.
Uh-huh.
And next day, from the guy that followed me as a guard over there, he says, geez, they found our mascot
Really?
dead. It's full of holes. I said, Eddie, don't tell anybody, that was me.
So that was the end of your mascot, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I tell my grandkids, I didn't kill any Germans, but I killed a burro.
Killed a burro. Okay. Is that what we have for Arizona?
Yeah, the next one is starting in France,
Okay.
just a couple.
Okay. After the Arizona desert, then you started. When did you finish your training in Arizona?
It was in September to January, we went to Port of Embarkation,
Is that
New
44?
York. In New York, Camp Shanks, New York.
Is that 44? 1944?
43.
43.
Yeah,
Okay. You went to Camp Shanks.
yeah, at the
Okay.
Port of Embarkation.
Debarkation. Debarkation.
No, we're gonna get on the ship.
Embarkation, okay.
Yeah,
So, you got aboard the QE2, the Queen Elizabeth. Is it QE2 or is it
15,000.
just the Queen Elizabeth?
Queen, 15,000 troops on one ship.
Really?
Yeah, and they stack you up like cordwood, but a foot apart, you know?
You were able to find sleep? You were able to sleep?
Oh, and a lot of times I couldn't, so
Yeah.
you go up on deck
Uh-huh.
and try to get a little breathing room, you know?
Now, this was in the wintertime. How's the trip across the Atlantic?
Zigzaggy.
Uh-huh.
Zigzaggy, they were trying to dodge the submarines.
Uh-huh.
But they were unescorted because the speed was so much, the old German subs couldn't keep up with us.
Is
You
that
were
right?
worried that you might run into a pack, you know? That's
Yeah.
the only worry they had.
Yeah.
They had a gun crew on board, but it was uneventful, and we landed in Scotland.
You could tell that they had stripped the Queen Elizabeth for troop duty?
Oh, we slept in the library and without no books. There was all stacks of
Beds.
yeah. And
How's the food?
Food was you ate twice a day, but they were always serving food. There were so many people, and when food was all right, but you felt your stomach felt squeezy, you know.
Yeah, because of the
Yeah,
ocean?
yeah. I didn't get seasick, but
Yeah.
you don't feel like eating either,
All right.
especially
So-
when the British boil pork. Now, there's
Uh-huh.
nothing worse than boiled pork.
Really?
And even if you didn't have a squeezy stomach, you would
Yeah.
get one eating that.
Yeah. So you arrived in Scotland, did you?
Scotland, the port of Glasgow, I don't know, there was another name for the port, near Glasgow, and
Well, on your way over, you didn't go through any exercises or training or anything like that, did you?
no, no.
You were just getting over there.
Yeah, I figured it took about 5 days,
5 days.
yeah, 5 or 6 days.
Mhm.
Took a little longer because it was zigzagging, you know.
Uh-huh. So you got to near Glasgow. What happened there?
Well, we disembarked and took a train to Wales.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, near Swansea, southern Wales.
Yeah.
And we were there from January to June. We were, after training in Wales, we went down to, we sort of knew when D-Day was coming because they gave us special clothes for D-Day, the jackets, special jackets. And we went to Southampton, and it had already started. We got there after all
Yeah.
the first 2 or 3 waves had already left. And about a week later,
So you knew you were going.
we were going.
Did they ever equip you with any kind of bulletproof jackets or
No.
body armor or anything like that?
Well, no, we weren't combat. We were supporting troops. We were, but we
Your
were
combat support.
Yeah,
Yeah. In other words, you followed the combat troops and repaired the guns that they used.
close enough
Close enough, yeah.
to help them. Like
Yeah, to get them back into
recovering
operation.
tanks, which
Yeah.
was a dirty job because when a tank gets shot up, the remains inside are scattered along the walls of the inside of the tank, and
Pretty
it
rough.
was a disc. It wasn't a very good sight to see.
Uh-huh. So, you went to Wales. Did you do any repair work while in the English?
Yes,
in
yes,
England?
we did a lot of them getting ready for the invasion.
Yeah.
Small arms,
Yeah.
not much tank repair because tanks weren't being shot up. So
Yeah.
we did small arms and
Small arms that had been used, or small arms that were going to be used?
well, you go through training. The infantry people used to go through training,
Mhm.
and they used to have some repair work.
Okay.
Actually, it was pretty leisurely. There
Yeah.
wasn't that much to do.
You were able to get downtown and see
Yeah, we
Local
visited
color?
Cardiff, the capital, which is at the time, very modern city.
Where's that?
Cardiff, the capital of Wales,
Uh-huh.
and Swansea was the nearest one, a smaller town.
So you liked it down there?
Well, it was under restriction, blackouts, and there were always fears of German raids, but never came.
You never saw any raids
No.
in that area?
They didn't allow us into London. Nobody could go to London unless it was strictly business.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you went from Wales to France on D-Day +6. D-Day being June 6, 1944. You arrived in France on June 12 or June
Thereabouts,
13.
yeah, 12, 13, during the night.
Tell us where you landed. You landed on Normandy Beach?
In Normandy Beach, Omaha Beach,
Omaha Beach.
in the front of the tank infantry barges that went right up to the beach and
These are Higgins boats, I think,
Yeah.
where the flat
maybe
part of the
like
boat
Higgins,
hit the beach.
yeah.
How did you land?
Well, in about 2 feet of water, and we drove the vehicles right off of it. I drove a Jeep and the water was almost up to the pedals,
Really?
but it made it,
Just about.
just about made it, yeah.
And you didn't encounter any enemy fire?
No, you could hear it at night, you could see the flashes at night, but
Really?
we didn't get any.
Okay.
By that time, the Air Force had control of the air anyway.
Describe what you saw when you landed at Normandy. How did you feel? What did you see?
The wreckage was unbelievable. The number of boats that were hit, and there were no bodies because the U.S. Army was very, very strict about removing bodies right away. Graves registration people worked overtime. But there was a lot of wreckage they had not touched yet.
Really? These were mainly boats?
Mainly boats. And the Germans had entanglements
Yeah,
to
yeah.
hold you up,
The obstacles?
obstacles.
Yeah. But
Well,
they didn't stop you?
well, the infantry blows them up before they
Oh, yeah.
can cross them,
Okay.
Bangalore torpedoes.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, Hai Khartounian was one of the engineers that used the Bangalore torpedo and blew a hole in the Normandy concrete wall in Omaha Beach.
Along the hedgerows, too.
You
Hyde
didn't-
was a hero.
you
Hyde
didn't-
was a hero.
You didn't run into him, did you?
No.
And did you discuss that with him when he was here at the post? Did you ever discuss that with him?
2 years ago, when he was still alive, the French government was awarding American veterans that helped liberate France with commendations.
Right.
And aboard the USS Kennedy, and I met
You met him there.
Hyde there,
Yeah.
and we got a commendation from the French consul. I should have brought
Right.
the commendation.
Uh-huh. Did you discuss what he did at that time?
Well, I have known Hyde all my life, so.
But has he ever discussed with you the fact that he used a Bangalore torpedo to...
No, he never talked
Never
that
did.
much about it. I knew from other people that.
what he had done?
That he had quite a bit of action.
Really?
Yeah.
So he never discussed much with you?
No, he didn't talk about it much. No.
All right. So you're on the beach, and from Omaha, you get trucked to northern France?
All our equipment, trucks, jeeps, repair equipment, wreckers, which were very lumbersome. And we're assigned to Patton's Third Army, and Patton had trying to take off, and of course at first they met a lot of resistance, and we caught up for him at the Falaise Gap. That was a breakout point, and we got there just in time when he broke out and raced for the German border against the wishes of Eisenhower. We later found out, and we couldn't stay in one place 24 hours because we had to be fairly close to him to pick up the tanks, equipment, to support him, you know. The only way he got stopped was they just stopped sending him gasoline for the tanks.
Is that right?
They slowed down on the, so he'd be reasonable about it. But he went all the way to Luxembourg in September of 44, before any other outfit. We got into Luxembourg, we caught up with them there. Then they made us come back. You're stretched out too far, you know.
Really?
They were afraid of counterattacks.
So, as you followed Patton along his attack towards Falaise Gap and Luxembourg, your job was to retrieve damaged tanks and repair them.
Yep, and small arms.
Small arms.
Anything that needed repair, in fact. We were a heavy-duty
Yeah.
traveling factory.
In other words, they wouldn't just leave the damaged tanks in the field.
They would leave the damaged tanks in the field, and there was a liaison that would know the locations for us to go with our records and retrieve them, bring it back to our area in the rear. And most of the time, as we found out, we did less repair and more replacement. We'd take the engine used to take a beating. We'd take the engine out, the mechanics would, and put a new one, and just left the other ones,
Just leave it there.
just leave it there, yeah.
Or treads on a tank, you just take one
Threads
off.
were quite replaceable quite often, yeah. And the guns, unless they were damaged by fire, German fire, didn't need too much work. In fact, I think I remember working on just one tank that had a damaged gun.
And there was no wearing out of these guns, as it would be in the desert, for instance.
No, the action was fast. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe that would be the action for that tank, you know?
Right. You were talking about retrieving tanks that have been damaged or blown up. Tell us what that, how you did that.
Well, I wasn't in that crew that did that.
Yeah.
But we have 2 or 3 wreckers to go and pick up the tank. They take the treads off, and pick up one end of the tank and drive away with it.
That is, drag it.
Drag it out.
Are these wreckers, are they trucks or are they
Oh,
tanks?
big trucks.
Big trucks?
Big trucks, yeah.
Yeah, and they're able to pull that tank back, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't see any. They were bigger than what you normally see around,
Yeah.
civilian life.
Okay. And so you followed Patton
Up until Luxembourg.
up to Luxembourg.
Then we were taken from him because they couldn't go any further, and we were held up there at the German border. We went to Belgium and to the Ninth Army. And there was winter time, and not much action.
This was still 44?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not much action for a few, 2 or 3 weeks. Then all hell broke loose. They gave us 30 minutes to get out of there and go to a safer area with all our equipment. We had to leave a lot of stuff behind because, we weren't infantry. We weren't fighting.
Yeah.
We were non-combat troops. So we went about 50 miles north of what turned out to be the Battle of the Bulge, and for 3-4 weeks until January, when the skies lifted, the rain lifted, and the U.S. Air Force came into play, and they just slaughtered those Germans.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So you moved up 50 miles out into Belgium, did you?
Yeah.
And
To Holland.
To Holland.
Holland.
Okay. And you were just waiting, I suppose, for the Battle of the Bulge to end.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you're doing your repair work.
They lost so many troops captured and dead that they recruited out of non-combat units, and I had the misfortune of being one of the ones selected to go online. And they put us online, not way down 50 miles, but at an intersection where German troops were parachuting into in the back areas, and trying to cause commotion, you know.
Yes.
And they put us online that way.
Uh-huh.
We were away about 2 weeks.
So you were patrolling,
Yeah, we were supposed to be online.
just to make sure that your areas remain
Yeah.
safe.
And then we went back to our regular outfits after that. Then
Okay.
the winter set in, and they couldn't do much. There was a standstill there for quite a while. And then on February 22nd, I'll never forget that day, because it used to be George Washington's birthday. 13,000 guns blew up the other side of the Rhine River, blew along the line, maybe 2 or 3 miles long, and
What kind of guns were these?
any kind that would shoot shells.
Everything?
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
tanks, anti-tank, anti-aircraft.
Yeah.
And the next morning, we went with ducks. No.
Yes.
The Navy came in at that point.
Yeah, with the ducks.
Navy was there.
Amphibious aircraft.
Amphibious,
vehicles,
and
yeah.
we crossed the Rhine that way.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely no opposition, because the trees were matchstick sizes. That's how much bombardment. There
Really?
was nothing left.
This was
Nothing
February
left.
26, 1945?
22nd, February 22nd, 1945. That
45.
was 45 then, yeah.
So they had really smashed them
Well,
on the other side.
we didn't lose anybody.
Yeah. And this was following the bombardment of the German troops at the Battle of the Bulge, which was before that.
Oh, the Air Force, of course, did a job on them. It was
Yeah.
cloudy for 10 days in a row, snowy, oh, geez, terrible.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do much. In fact, that's when Bastogne took place.
Yes.
Bastogne, they
Lieutenant,
wanted to
General McAuliffe
Yeah, he
gave
gave
his
them
favorite
nuts.
message, nuts.
So Patton came to the rescue there, too. He
Yeah.
came up from Luxembourg, and one day,
Really?
he traveled day and night to get there.
Did you follow him, or?
No, we never got in contact with him again. They
Okay,
used to take outfits like us and put them where they were needed, you know?
okay. So after the bombardment, and after these 13,000 guns on the other side of the Rhine, you went across in these amphibious ducks.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And how many people in each duck? How many people would a duck take?
Well, maybe 40,
40?
about 40 standing
you-
up, or full equipment, you know?
Yeah, and how many ducks did they use?
There was many.
Many?
I couldn't tell.
And you had no opposition,
Absolutely not, no.
really? All right, so you crossed the Rhine,
Yep.
and what happened on the other side?
Then we were assigned to the Ninth Army, which consisted of American and English and Canadian troops under Montgomery.
Oh, how'd you
Yeah.
get along with them?
Well, on a personal level, never saw them, but
Yeah,
the Canadian troops are very good, very, very good people.
yeah.
Very good.
But you had your own crew, your own
We
maintenance
operated
crew?
almost independently, yeah.
So when a tank was blown up, or when a
In our
tank...
vicinity.
In your vicinity, you'd bring it back?
The nearest one to the tank, there's a lot of coordination, people that draw the coordination.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't lose that many tanks, to tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Was there a time when you started repairing larger than 70 millimeter guns?
Towards the last year of the war, they couldn't compete with the M4, Mark IV German tank, because that 88 was a terrible gun.
Panzer?
Sure, Panzer. Well,
Yeah.
Panzer is a unit.
Yeah.
The tanks, their artillery was superior to ours, until they could come up with the 90 millimeter
Uh-huh.
American gun, which then we had the speed and the gun artillery too. So
Uh-huh.
they had a piece of cake after that.
Really? How, any idea how far a 90 millimeter gun would throw a shell?
They were accurate up to a mile, and
Mm-hmm.
after that there was hit and miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So how far into Germany did you go? Let
We
me
went
see.
to,
Why don't we see if we can trace some of your photographic things here?
All right, this is going through, after we landed in Normandy, those pictures are,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, you have Saint Lo, a town in France. Okay. Why don't we take this picture of Saint Lo? You have a picture here. It says convoy through Saint Lo, France.
That
Got a whole
port-
bunch of trucks here.
Yeah, that's our trucks.
Did you take this picture?
I don't remember, but I think I did.
How old is-
I had a German camera.
Looks
picked up
pretty
somewhere.
devastating.
Well, the whole town, it was a small town,
Yeah.
and there was not a building left that
Yeah.
was standing.
And the roads, are they paved?
Most of them were sandy, sand.
Yeah, this looks sandy. Okay, so you got through St. Lo at some time between landing at Normandy and getting to Luxembourg, I
Yeah.
take it.
That's where we're attached to Patton's,
Uh-huh,
First Army.
okay. And this is passing through St. Lo, August 28, 1944.
Yeah.
And so this was pretty close to when you got on the shores of France.
Well, it was a few weeks later, yeah.
Okay. So did you just go through St. Lo, passing through?
Well, there was nothing there, really. No resistance.
No.
But we had occasional snipers, but
Yeah.
they were quickly wiped out.
We have another one here. It says, a little town in northern France.
After it
and
was
celebrating
liberated.
their liberation.
After it was liberated, yeah.
Yeah, you found them quite friendly?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were happy that you were there?
Flowers and wine.
They have flowers and wine.
Yeah.
All right, and in the back it says here, some roadside jive in a small village in northern
Yeah, they were
France.
celebrating.
Okay,
We used to use that word jive a lot. in
yes,
those days.
I know. So, these people were happy to see you,
Yes, they were.
and you get celebrated with wine and flowers, huh?
Among
Okay.
other things.
All right. And then we have here a picture of, it says France, and who are these people here, Tony?
Can I see that?
Yeah.
Soldiers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 soldiers.
Yeah, they're probably from my outfit.
It says
Yeah.
here, near, let me see, near Charleville, northern France.
Charleville, yeah.
Charleville. Can you describe that picture?
Yeah, well, in the army, you hurry up and wait. We were waiting for something, I don't remember what, but we
Yeah.
were waiting.
Okay.
And somebody had a camera, took a picture of us.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And which one are you?
The one standing on the left,
You're the one standing.
yeah.
Okay, there you are.
Sad sack, huh?
And these are a bunch of your group?
They're my outfit, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is going through France.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you have there?
And this is winter in Holland during a lull period.
Okay. Here we have a picture of Dutch winter.
Yes, that was during a lull, right after the Battle of the Bulge.
Uh-huh.
We were at a standstill
Uh-huh.
for 2 or 3 weeks.
This is after the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah,
Looks like a lot of snow there.
a lot of snow.
Okay. And this is, it says here, just finished eating chow.
Yeah, you can see the musket in my hand.
Oh, well, this is you.
Yeah.
So you just got through eating. Okay.
And the Dutch people were in dire need of food.
Really?
And you never ate the full meal. You always gave it to, they hang around the garbage pails.
Really?
So you wouldn't eat much and you'd give it to them.
Oh, boy. All right. And we have a picture here of somebody driving a truck. Is that you?
That's me again.
You're driving a truck.
Yeah,
That's a huge truck.
that's a 6x6.
6 by.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And what are you doing there?
Probably moving,
Moving your unit.
yeah, moving
Okay.
during the moving period.
All right.
They're always on the go.
And then you have something here called Panther junk.
Oh,
This
thing,
is
knocked
this
out,
looks like a
knocked out German tank.
Yeah. And you are sitting on one of the guns, I take it, huh? And it says here, wrecked German tank just outside Brunswick, June 11, 1945.
Oh, Brunswick is after we crossed the Rhine.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay. So, looks like the tank is really knocked out.
Well, by that time we had the 90s, 90 millimeter
Yeah.
on the tanks.
Uh-huh. So, you were pictured aboard that. Okay, have we caught up with you?
This is the right up to within 50 miles of Berlin. That's
This-
why we stopped. We stopped there.
Yeah, this is after you crossed the Rhine,
Way into what was then East Germany.
Osterberg.
Yeah, Osterberg. Our last,
And this says 538th Ordnance Supply Point.
yeah.
And where are you here?
I think I'm kneeling.
Nobody's kneeling in this picture.
No?
No. Looks like you have a whole bunch of guys with you.
No.
And let's see, it says Osterberg, Germany. Front row, Ben Richards, Tom Terry, Lieutenant Mesawati, Jack Puzicki, Tony Russo, Carl Altshuler. Back row, Freddie Czar, Cliff Labby, Larry Stevens, something Hutter, Johnny Dutch, Howard, Outcal, and Lieutenant Nichols. Are you Dutch?
No, I'm in there someplace. I
Okay,
left my name out, I guess.
okay. It says Osterberg, Germany, May 1945.
No, that's the week of
Right.
the last few days of the war.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, where are you in that picture? Any idea?
Yeah. To the right of the sign, standing.
Let's see. Okay. So you're standing just to the right of the sign. Right, okay. All right. Now, what else do you have here?
Well, this is the place where they signed the end of
Is
World
this
War
on your
II.
way to Berlin?
Yeah, well, that's in northern France. Where
You're
they-
still in northern France?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's after the war now, though.
That's after the war's over. Right. And you have a picture here of the place where the site of the peace treaty with Germany in after World War II. It was
Yeah.
in France. You were there?
Yep.
What's it look like?
In fact, I visited that place 50 years later. They had turned it into a museum.
It says little old schoolhouse,
It was originally a schoolhouse. They used it as a office for
Reims, France.
Reims, Champagne country.
Right, okay. All right. Now, do you recall, you say you were in France in May, do you recall when President Roosevelt died?
Oh, yes. April, just before the war ended.
April 45.
Yeah, about a month
Right.
before the war ended.
Were there any special ceremonies at that time?
I don't recall. We were
You were just
in-
doing business as usual?
We were on the road, you know. So,
Okay.
And we always got the, what do you call the paper? I forget the name of it.
Stars and Stripes?
Stars and Stripes, a day or two late.
Yeah.
And we used to keep up with the news that way.
How did President Roosevelt's death, what kind of effect did that have upon the troops?
Everybody's mind was getting the hell out of here and going home.
Uh-huh.
And that was another indication that maybe, no, things are going to be. But as it turned out, we didn't get home for another 7 months because they didn't have enough boats to take us all back. We went back to France by 40 and 8. That's a
Yeah.
train.
Train, yeah.
And they sent us down to Marseille to go to Japan. And while we're there at the port of embarkation, Marseille, they dropped a bomb in Japan.
That was in August of 45.
So we had to gather everything up again and go back to Austria
Really?
and wait our turn because we didn't have enough points. We were only overseas a year and a half,
Yeah.
whereas there was people there 2 or 3 years, you know? So
Was there any feeling amongst the troops or any realization that rather than just quitting and going home, perhaps you should stay to ensure the peace?
well, that's what our job, we were part of that ensure the peace business.
Occupational forces?
Yeah, but the American Army always put the Germans in charge, mayor, the other burgomeisters.
Yeah.
They always had Germans running their towns. The Germans were very efficient people, and they knew they were beaten, and the U.S. Army was very stern about it.
Yeah.
That, we don't want any trouble, we won't trouble you, but you're in charge, and no problem at all.
But from what I understand, General Eisenhower wanted to make sure that no prior Nazi or anybody connected with the Nazi party would be in control of any of the population.
They
But
were-
most of the people were Nazis anyway.
They were screened, but, you know, they were smart enough to say they're not a Nazi, you know?
Yeah.
So they took the people with the experience to running a town and put them in there. Nazi or no Nazi. They
Yeah.
were powerless anyway.
I
They
understand.
couldn't do much.
But of course, that's what General Patton did, and he was criticized by Eisenhower, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. But,
General Patton put the experienced Germans in charge of Heidelberg, I think it was. But Eisenhower criticized him because he says they're using former Nazi collaborators.
well,
You didn't have any problem like that.
no problem at all. The problem we had was our own people. They got into so much trouble. In my resume, they knew I used to typewrite in school. I took business course in high school, and they assigned me to a court-martial group that tried soldiers that got into trouble.
Oh, God.
And my God, so much trouble.
What kind of trouble did they get into?
Robberies, rapes,
Drinking?
drinking, illegal trafficking, selling stuff that belonged to the U.S. government.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of rapes, a lot of murders,
Really?
yeah. There's no need of it. There was
Yeah.
no need of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything was,
Were you ever indoctrinated into any of that stuff? Were you given lectures on how to conduct yourself, or?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we were.
That
And we were young and, you know, by that time I was around 21. But we were a young 21,
Yeah.
not like today, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We were more or less innocents.
yeah, yeah. So, you, I think we left you off at the attack across the Rhine. And then from the Rhine, where did you go?
It was a
When you got across the Rhine River?
It was a race.
It was
It
really,
was a race. Who would get to the next point the fastest? There was sporadic resistance, you know.
yeah,
In fact, the infantry and tank groups would go through a town. They didn't even bother picking up strays, you know, and we used to go through and we were sniped at a few times,
Yeah,
and the telephone, get the infantry, come back, squad would come back and clean it up,
yeah.
and because we weren't supposed to
So
fight
you-
back.
Yeah, you were in a race to go to the
Keep
next
up with
point?
the advanced groups.
Okay,
We had to be so close to them, you know.
and that was with Patton?
But they weren't, the German, toward the last 2 weeks, they were surrendering to us. They were laying down their arms to the side of the road, hands up in the air.
Really?
What the hell could we do? I mean, you'd have to have a order to, they
Yeah,
just put them in the field and go by. We go by to the next stop.
okay.
I don't know what happened afterwards.
All right.
Somebody would pick them up.
So how far into Germany did you get?
50 miles from Berlin at the Elbe River.
Yeah.
ELB.
Elbe. Yeah, the Elbe
Elbe
River.
River, yeah.
Yeah. And you meet the Russians there?
We met the Russians from the other side.
Uh-huh,
We were waving at them and all that.
yeah. How'd you get along with them?
Well, we weren't that close.
You weren't?
But some people have met them and they did the Russian dance, you know,
Yeah.
drinking vodka.
Okay,
But the German people wanted to surrender to us. When we started to pull out again, they'd want to come on our truck, you know, take us
Yeah.
with you. No, nothing doing. You're going to
Yeah.
stay there.
yeah.
So,
They were afraid of the Russians,
afraid of Russians,
yeah.
because they were devastated.
As it was, the Russians really took care of them.
Brutally.
Brutally. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so is the farthest point that you went into Germany the Elbe River?
Yeah, at Osterberg, yeah,
Uh-huh. Osterberg.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This is in May of 1945.
Yeah.
Then did you start to pull back?
We went by 40 and 8 to northern France again, to a deep...
40 and 8 is a railroad car.
Yeah, yeah.
Stands for 40 people and 8 mules. That's it.
Yeah,
Al
yeah.
Arsini was telling
40
me.
horses and 8 mules.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that trip, they had ablution stations along the way. I don't know whether the German...
You were telling us about your a trip along these 40 and 8 railroad trains. I just want to make sure we cover it. And you were traveling from the area of Osterberg back to
Yeah, that's deep into Germany,
deep into
Osterberg.
Germany, yeah.
It
You
ended up
they were
being
traveling back after
East
the,
Germany, yeah.
and you came across some bodies, did you say?
It must have been experimental labs or something. We came across vats. That's all we saw. We didn't want to go any deeper. Bodies in each vat.
These are round vats?
There's a square vat,
Square.
not square, rectangular vats that take a body lengthwise. You know.
Like they'd have cadavers in them.
Yeah, yeah. And all different women, naturally, at different stages of pregnancy. The last one was a whole baby.
And the baby itself was dead, too.
The baby was there. They weren't decaying yet, so it must have been fairly recent that they were left there, you know.
Uh-huh. Did you bring this to the attention of anybody?
You know what? We told our buddies everything, but never got any further than that.
Really?
Hey, somebody would probably find out later
Yeah,
on, you know.
yeah.
We didn't give a damn. We wanted to go home.
I see. All right. Now, from there, I asked you, where along those trips did you get the Berchtesgaden?
That was after the war was over, when we were in Marseille, ready to go to Japan, when they dropped the bomb, and we had
August
to-
of 45.
Yeah, and we had to. I guess they decided we couldn't get the boat, but there's not enough boats, so we went back to Austria. But
Whereabouts in Austria?
Linz is the biggest city near
Linz.
Linz.
Yeah.
And this was if you try to go there now, it costs you a fortune. 8,000 feet up a lake with cottages all around it. That was our home.
That's where you were
for the
staying?
next 3 months.
Oh, really?
Maid service, I'm telling you, it was a deal. I'll never equal that,
Really?
yeah. And full maid service.
Mm-hmm.
And our job was collecting all the equipment. Wristwatches, we were selling to the Russians for $150 a piece.
Well,
The market was so saturated, you couldn't get $25 after a couple of weeks.
really?
And then American money, if you had American money, you get 10 guldens. Guldens? No. The Austrian term for a dollar,
Yeah.
equal of a dollar.
Whatever the
10
dollar.
times what the dollar would bring. And then you make a money order, send it home that way. But the Army caught on fast. They limited you to 10% of your base pay. So you couldn't send home more than, I forget what I was getting now.
If your base pay was $200 a month, you
Yeah.
couldn't get more than $20.
$220, yeah.
Really?
And I'm writing frantically to my sisters to send me money, cash money.
Yeah.
They sent me $15. They worked in hood rubber.
Yeah.
And right away, I got $150 in guldens, or whatever. I forget the name of the dollar.
And you use them to purchase whatever
Yeah.
you wanted over there.
Well, after a while, you couldn't send it home, so when we went to Paris on leave, we hired a whole floor. All the guys got together and they had the whole floor for
Yeah.
ourselves.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Berchtesgaden. I think you have some photography here of
I think
Berchtesgaden.
that's it right there.
Is this it? Yes. Okay. All right. This picture. This first one, it says, this structure above ground was damaged by air raids, but underneath there are many tunnels and rooms which escaped damage.
That-
And this is a picture that says, Hitler's home. And you're
Yes.
sitting in a chair there. Is that you?
Yeah,
Okay,
they built an elevator right through the core of the mountain
yeah,
and took you up to the peak.
really?
Yeah,
All right. And this other picture says, let me see here, it says Adolf's favorite bay window.
which was non-existent. It was blown out.
Yeah.
It overlooked the mountain, 8,000 feet high.
Is this looking out from the inside of
Looking out from the
Berchtesgaden?
inside, yeah.
And those troops, those are your troops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have a dozen guys in that bay window?
Probably, yeah.
And it says, large bay window overlooking the surrounding country.
Yeah,
So this
beautiful
was the
country, beautiful country.
Bay window of Berchtesgaden, huh?
Yeah,
All right. And you have another one here that says, let me see here. It says Gestapo barracks remains. Tell us something about that.
well, Hitler, when he went there for conferences, used to have soldiers guarding him, and there was their barracks. That was on the surface, so the Air Force could bomb it and wreck it,
Yeah.
but they couldn't get anywhere
to
near.
him.
Yeah.
Is that you in the middle?
What picture is that?
The Gestapo barracks?
Oh, I had one. I had a picture of him sitting at a table, a
Yeah.
big conference table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah.
And it says here, Nick and I in front of the SS barracks of what's left of them from an air raid.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the barracks. And this table,
That's where
Let's see.
he held his conferences.
this is where Hitler held his conferences with his various staff. And you're sitting at the head where Hitler
Yeah.
sat. Okay. And this is at his Eagle's Nest
Yeah.
retreat. And this says here, Hitler had only few conferences. Hitler had only a few conferences there, which his generals, with his generals, but they were important ones. That's me in the head of the table in case you didn't recognize. Okay.
I sent that to my sisters during the war.
And
Those pictures,
who
yeah.
took these pictures?
Well, some I did, and some, don't remember exactly, but
All right.
it was with a German camera.
Now, there also came a time when you came across some remains of
Atrocities, yeah.
atrocities. Where was this?
Gardelegen, Germany, and northern Germany, on our way to the Elbe River.
Okay.
One day,
This is between the Rhine and the Elbe?
between the Rhine and halfway.
Halfway to the Elbe?
Yeah.
Okay, and these are some of the pictures you took,
Yes.
came across?
Yes.
Tell us something about this.
Well, the story we got was they put 1,100, we didn't know at the time who they were, whether it was slave laborers, Jews, I think it was just a mixed type of people that worked in the factories surrounding it. They put them in that barn, lit the hay, and burned them alive.
Yeah, here are some bodies next to a barn.
Yeah.
And looks like our troops are here too.
Yes. We came upon it a couple of days later. They were still smoldering when we got there.
Really? So you say they burned them alive?
Well, that's what we thought at the time.
Was the barn burning?
No, but it was smoldering. The bodies were
Smoldering.
smoldering.
So they had actually been killed.
Oh, yeah.
They
yeah.
didn't die a natural death.
No, they were alive when they set it afire, from what the citizens said, the German citizens.
Yeah. They said that these people were workers.
I forget what they said they were, but
Yeah.
some of them had Oriental eyes.
Uh-huh. Were you able to speak to any of the survivors? Or were there any survivors?
There were no survivors, no.
No survivors. Okay. And when you came across them, you have another picture here of people digging graves.
We,
Did you have any part in this?
American authorities
Yeah.
made out an edict that each body had to be separately buried, and
In a separate grave.
a grave should be taken care of in perpetuity.
Uh-huh. And did you have any part in rounding up local populace?
No, that's the we had to.
That's the grave registration people?
Other people did that.
Okay. And let me see, there's a sign here, if we can make it out.
Well, it says that they should take care of the property, the cemetery.
It says Gardelegen Military Cemetery. And it gives directions as to what should be done with the cemetery,
Yeah.
to be taken care of in perpetuity. So you don't know where these bodies came from, but you do know that they were smoldering.
I know there was factories nearby, and we figured at the time that they were slave laborers.
Uh-huh, okay. Now, let me see. You stayed in Paris. Was it? Where'd you stay? I think where'd you say you stayed at?
Well,
Where you kind of lived like kings
oh, that was in Austria.
in Austria.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you mingle with the population?
yeah.
Local people? They respected you and no trouble with them?
Germans were, and no trouble at all.
Yeah.
No trouble.
After the war, they didn't rebel or anything like that.
No, they were very. Germans were funny people. I think they were the smartest people in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't say that publicly too much, but
Yeah.
they were right about being superior.
Yeah.
But they had a character flaw.
Yeah.
They followed a leader like Hitler, they had to have a character flaw.
Yeah.
But after World War I, they gave Germany such a short end of the stick
Yeah.
that they were inviting another problem. And
Yeah.
a demagogue like Hitler comes along, and no, that's during the 20s, you can buy a loaf of bread, a basket of money.
Yeah.
That's how much
Yeah.
inflation they had over there.
Yeah.
Just like we had bad times here, they had it twice as long, and
So I suppose the Marshall Plan did help some of this.
oh, that was a great deal for them. Japan, people
Yeah.
were complaining that we're helping Iraq now.
Yeah. It's probably the thing to do.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you'd have a revolution.
of course. And the Germans helped themselves, though. They didn't fight among themselves. Oh, in Iraq, you got different sects, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why that they're having trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not homogeneous like the Germans.
Yeah.
And Japanese are very law-abiding,
Mhm.
and we had no problem there.
Yeah.
All we supplied was the money, and they did all the work.
So, after Austria, where did you go?
After we finished our work collecting all the, after everybody took advantage of
Yeah. The situation.
situation,
Yeah.
we finally went back to Marseille. Finally, the boat came. Everything was over. We landed in Virginia.
How'd you get, what kind of boat you use?
Victory ship, they're
These-
not a big ship.
Are these the Kaiser ships?
Higgins or Kaiser?
Kaiser. Yeah,
Kaiser.
yeah.
Yeah.
Big LSTs and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
That's the ones that Onassis bought after the war for peanuts.
Yeah. Did you bring your equipment back with you?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Oh, you went with the war, though. No, the Jeeps and trucks, oh, no.
Jeeps and trucks stayed
Yeah,
there? And
Yeah, there was another group that, we sold a lot of it to the populace over there for
Yeah.
peanuts.
Yeah.
And we just abandoned them as far as I'm concerned.
Uh-huh.
We just left
Okay. So when you got to Virginia, did you?
Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Hampton Roads. All during this time, these two and a half years, did you correspond with your family?
Every day.
They knew that you were okay, and
Yeah, I couldn't say much.
yeah,
In fact, one letter, they keep reminding me, I just said, hello,
yeah,
one word, hello.
yeah, yeah.
Send it.
That's it. Okay. The censorship was pretty heavy, I suppose,
Uh,
as to where you were.
no, we were very disciplined as what we could say.
Yeah,
They told me none of the letters were censored.
yeah.
Because I'm very careful not to say anything.
Are any of these? Have you kept any of these letters, or have you thrown them all away?
Well, I mailed it to my sisters,
Yeah.
and I don't think they kept it. No,
Uh-huh.
no.
Did you send them any pictures other than what you've shown me here?
Yeah, that's all. That's all I had.
Yeah. Were you able to collect any memorabilia over there, like pistols and swords,
Well,
and organizational
I
things?
got the flag from the city hall of Hanover in northern Germany.
Yeah,
We went there right after the infantry, and
Yeah.
everything was available. I climbed the roof, going on the roof, got the flag, and I brought that home.
you brought that home.
Yeah.
You still have it?
I gave it to my nephew, like a dumbbell.
Yeah.
It was worth a fortune afterwards.
Yeah.
And I had a Luger I gave him, Nazi armbands.
Yeah, yeah.
Geez, you could have got a mint for a mint.
Does he still have them now?
He sold it.
Yeah.
He sold it. He made the money.
If he has any of the stuff, we'd like to photograph it. Maybe you can
My
ask
mother
him.
didn't want the Nazi flag
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
house.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So when you got back to Hampton Roads, where'd you go from there?
Each one went their own way. The ones from Fort Devens went to Fort Devens.
Yeah, processed out there.
Yeah, processed out there.
Yeah.
And
And are we happy to be home?
I hired a cab.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. I got to Waltham, so at the railroad station, must have been by railroad.
Really?
Back to City Hall, right back at City Hall was a depot there. I got out there, hired a cab, and went
Right.
home.
When you say City Hall, you mean Waltham City Hall?
Waltham, yeah.
Waltham City Hall.
Yeah, what did I say?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
Waltham City Hall.
and your family was still in Watertown?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're happy to see you.
of course.
Yeah. And what did you do after that?
Well, I hung around for 2 or 3 days, come here, talking with everybody was coming home.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what to do. I tried to go to college, but they found out I didn't get a college course, that I had to have 2 years of prep school.
Yeah.
So I didn't, that's 6 years. I said, geez, I can make a lot of money in those 6 years doing
Yeah.
machinist work.
Yeah.
So I got a job as a machinist, and I was under the GI Bill. I was getting journeyman's pay, which was top money in those days.
How much was
Government
that?
subsidized it. If you didn't go to college, they subsidized you in your training program. Mine was machinist.
What'd
I
you
was
work
not a-
for?
I was not a top flight machinist
Yeah.
at the time, but I went to school and I got the money. Difference between what a trainee would get and what a journeyman would get.
Uh-huh.
So I was making good money. I worked
Who did you work for?
Lewis Shepherd Company in Watertown for
Oh, yeah.
5 years.
Mhm.
And then, because the U.S. government was giving 5 cents more an hour, I went to the government at
Yeah.
Watertown Arsenal.
You worked at the Arsenal.
Yeah, and I worked there for 18 years when they closed up.
Yeah.
And then I got transferred to the Navy Yard, 8 years there, when they closed up. Yeah, so,
Was being a veteran help you in
oh,
getting that
definitely,
job?
Definitely.
Yeah. And you had preference.
Yeah, 10 points for being
Really?
a disabled veteran,
Uh-huh.
5 points for being a regular
Okay.
veteran.
You weren't considered disabled.
Yeah, I got a disability.
What'd you get a disability on?
Paralyzed vocal cord.
Uh-huh.
I just got one vocal cord that works.
I see.
That's why I can't speak too long without getting.
Yeah.
But as the years went along,
It
I
got
was
better?
much worse before. It's
Okay.
I'm speaking a little better now,
That's good. And so you did have somewhat of a career in the Arsenal and in the Navy Yard. What were you doing in the Navy Yard? Was that the Boston Navy Yard?
Yeah, Boston Navy, yeah.
What were you doing down there?
Well, making repaired parts for ships.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got 8 years there. Between the Arsenal and the Navy Yard and my Army service, I got
Yeah.
30 years in.
Uh-huh.
So,
So you're pretty good for retirement.
1973, I retired from the federal government,
Uh-huh.
30 years ago.
You said something about Corporal Paul S. Marsubian, after whom this post is named.
Yes,
How did you know him?
he lived he was my neighbor.
He was your neighbor on School Street?
Yeah, and he was in my graduating class, high school graduating class.
Did you have much to do with him?
Well, yes.
You saw him day after day?
Well, I saw him in school every day,
Yeah.
and
What kind of a kid was he?
wonderful.
Yeah?
What a personality. Yeah, we lost a good guy there.
Yeah. You know his parents?
I know his mother. The father I never met. I don't know if he was around or not. But the mother lived many years later, after he died. Yeah, 2 or 3 houses down from us.
When you came back from the war, did you have occasion to talk to her?
No, I tell you the truth, I try to avoid her because I didn't know how to act.
Yeah.
I know how she felt, but
Yeah.
devastated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she had a daughter and Paul.
Yeah.
She had the daughter.
So rather than actually bring up old times,
Well, I was never, as a kid, I was never that.
you didn't know how to approach it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Now, other than knowing him in school, when you graduated high school, you never saw him again. Is that it?
I never saw him again, except once or twice I might have seen him,
In uniform?
accidentally in the neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, how long have you been with the post here at Post 41?
See, I didn't join the post because I was a member of disabled veterans. And I
Uh-huh.
tried to join the post many years ago. So for some reason, they give you such a, they don't go after people. Even
Yeah.
when I joined 5 years ago, they made me wait 2 or 3 months. For what?
Yeah,
For what?
I understand. But you did join,
Yeah, finally.
and you've had good rapport with the,
Oh, they're all my friends.
They
I
are.
knew a lot of them before
uh-huh,
from other organizations.
uh-huh, okay. Well, is there anything that I haven't asked you? I've tried to ask you as many questions as we can, but I want to make sure that you have a free reign of things that perhaps you'd want to express yourself.
Well, one
about.
thing I learned from the war, that a lot of people, they don't know what war really is.
Yeah.
In the movies, they see a soldier getting shot and flopping over dying. They don't see blown out guts. They don't see blown out faces. They don't see things like that. I'm a pacifist now, but we are fighting an enemy that's more insidious, the terrorists, that they're meant to try to make a religious war out of this.
No.
Even though we're sort of at fault that we're not handling it very well with the Muslim nation.
Yeah,
But we are fighting, even though I'm a pacifist now, I wouldn't hesitate to go to war again to fight these people because they only understand one thing, power. You gotta, but before you use that power, you gotta try everything in your power to
avoid it.
avoid it, yeah. Avoid war at all costs. Because most people don't know what war is, like I say. It looks so sanitary on film,
Yeah, yeah.
even though they try to make it realistic lately.
I know. Okay. Well, if that's it, then what we'll do is we'll terminate this oral history in a minute. Well, Tony, if we have nothing further, I just wanted to echo your words that war is not necessary, but sometimes if it comes, you have to deal with it. And as I said before, freedom is not free, and you've given me something here that I'd like to read. And it's quite true. It says here, it is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who gives us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protesters to burn the flag. And this is something that was drawn up by Father Dennis Edward O'Brien, who was a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps. And how true it is that freedom is not free. How true it is that what we have in the United States is truly, it's so valuable. It's beyond computation, isn't it? Freedom. And we have the freedom to do so many things, but we forget sometimes that freedom has its price, and freedom has its responsibilities. And here at Post 41, the Corporal Paulus Marsupian post of the AMVETS, where we meet regularly every month, these thoughts are brought up. And by virtue of these things that we bring up in the oral history, we hope that this will provide a certain amount of inspiration to those who are thinking of the security of this country, serving this country, serving the responsibilities of citizenship. And I want to just thank you, Tony, for making yourself available and giving us this oral history. And here we are Sunday, 11:30 a.m. I've given up my Sunday morning. At 11:30 a.m., that's my sacrifice, for on October 19, on the year 2003, which is a very dreary, raw, wet, foggy day, maybe in the time of day that we invaded Normandy Beach.
And
Yeah,
this afternoon, I'm going to Regal Theater
yeah,
to see the music of the 40s, and it's dedicated to the World War II veterans.
isn't that marvelous?
And they're going to do something there, I don't know what,
Very good.
honoring any World War II veterans.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so if that's it, this
That's
is
it.
Major Greg Arabian, Director of the Post 41 Oral History Project, signing off and thanking you for listening to us and seeing us.
Thank you, Greg.